Yo, whoa, 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 whoa. What up, what up, what up? All right, all right. Let me make sure I got what I need to get. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, yeah. All right, all right. All right, let me make sure everybody gets in okay. Ooh, all right, we're in. Boom, 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 boom. And this thing is busted. Hold on, let me try this. Boom, boom. All right, we're in the game, baby. We are in the game. Let me get my thing straight. All right, I got it going. Hey, Loner, what up, baby? What is going on? Dude, this today may be a little bit of a waste, huh? It's interesting. Like, we got Gap City in the markets already. Woo. What's up, Loner? How you doing, buddy? Boom, 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 boom. All right, hold. Give me 1 second, and then we pate. All right. All right, let's get to work. Everybody in, bros. All right, all right. Cool. Fuck it, man. Let's get to work, baby. Let's get to work. Hey, so we got a third gap city in the markets, guys. This is going to be, I would say, a very tricky day because you're starting to, when you get multiple gaps in a row, it takes a lot of the range out of the market, right? And so now you're kind of like, you're triggering some short term overbought readings and and you got the candle completely outside the upper Bollinger Band. So you're going to have yourself, I think, a little bit of probably a chop zone for today. So we'll have to be just slightly careful on. We're gonna have to be really careful on just the locations of things. I don't think the market's gonna like kind of whip back like a huge amount or anything. But when you have an ATR, when you got an ATR of 6 and you already used up half of it into the gap, it makes things just a lot more tricky. So let's be just a little bit cautious this morning. And let's be a little bit cautious this morning because we're going to have to get this. We're going to have to get this party started. But I think that the only way we can really probably participate in all the fun is if we get a slight pull at the open. Like I said, we're not like parabolic or anything like that. But I don't like when you get like multiple gaps in a row because it usually the second day of the gap, everything, if you use up too much range, then it makes everything a little bit more dicey. So let's just be kind of mindful of that. Now, you'll always get one snapback at some point in the market. And so when you get that snapback, then we shred. All right. So let's take a look and see what we got going on over here. Yeah, we got PPIs, all sorts of fun and games happening today. Boom, 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 boom. Dun-dun-dun-dun, U.S. stock, blah, blah, blah. The weekly job list games will be released at 8:30, along with the producer price report for May. So let's take a look and see what kind of numbers we got here. There we go. Hold on here. Let's switch the room. Boom, 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 boom. Yes, if we going through this, right, you can see here jobless claims 242, expecting 225. So they consider that bullish. Why? Because you want to see more claims because they think that'll kind of put a little damper on the inflation. So we've got ourselves into a good spot. Now, on the other side of things, hold on, get my face creams on. On the other side of things, you can see here the PPI month to month was a negative zero point 0.2 and they were expecting zero point 0.1. And the actual was 2.2, expecting 2.5. So what's happening is, they probably rigged this thing. And now you're starting to get a series of numbers that are coming in under expectation. And so when that happens, right, you're starting to get a push into the markets. And so now we're getting all these damn gaps. And it's taking a lot of the fun out of it, though. It is taking a lot of fun out of it. You can see here with even Tesla and stuff, you finally breaking the range. Good Lord. We're gonna have ourselves just a little bit of fun. So let's go back into this. So you can see here, look at this bad boy. We got everything coming in hot today. Tesla's got they got a big vote coming in. So, I don't think this is something you can hold overnight unless you want to take a big giant juicy gamble on something. But but look at that. But I think for day trades, we're going to be at a sweet spot. We've got this 200 magnet, and it's been here for a long time. If this vote passes through, then probably you kind of test into that 200, and then we'll see what happens. But Tesla's been the biggest dog, the biggest dog out of the Mag Sevens for a while. So we don't have necessarily like an easy play on this. When you got a $12 gap and the ATR is $7, dude, you're in for all sorts of bullshit. Let's take a look at the gappers, and then we're gonna start potting in. All right. Hot damn. All right. Cool, cool, cool. So QQQ, 0.7% gap up. So the game plan for today, right? We can't chase up any gap. So like yesterday, you got kind of a gap and grind, right? But that was kind of day one coming out of the flag. Now that you're gapping back out day two, and you're completely outside the upper Bollinger Band, you can long the market. Oh, I thought the vote was yesterday, today. So maybe it already did pass. For some reason, I thought it was today. All right. So now what we need to do is keep this bad boy on any type of pull. So I want you to add in the 9 EMA, 20 EMAs on your 5-minute charts. If you start to pull back and grind into those zones, then I think you're going to be in for some fun. Okay, so it looks like the vote already happened. I got my dates wrong. Let me see on Apple, brother. Hey, so Apple, I think everybody and their uncle's going to try to fade this Apple, but it already faded off $7, into the close yesterday. That was probably a spot. So what you want to do is just watch any quick bounce here. See if you get a lower high on this bad boy, and then you'll probably get something going, right? So just keep an eye on that. Like you just want a little bit of a pop, and then see like kind of what goes down. Thanks, Lana. Cool, cool, cool. So that's probably you do got a reversal candle on Apple. I'd really just make sure you got a good to get you got to get a good location on this because it's got all the Momo. But yeah, this is probably an overdone move. I mean, they had the Apple event. Basically, all they said was that they're gonna, you know, use somebody else's AI for some stuff. It didn't look like they had much going on. Yeah, he got a raise. Hey, Birdman, that's a good trade for you. Yeah, here. Hold on here one second. Let me grab my cafe. Oh man. Let me steep this bad boy for a couple minutes here. These French, these French presses are a lot more work. All right, let's get into this. Let's go into the gappers today. Let's see what kind of news plays we got. It's going to be a little bit slow for a hot second because you know the earnings season doesn't start for about one more month, right? So Elko is the kickoff of earnings season. You get the banks the week before, so we've got to have probably a little bit of a slightly kind of slower period, but there's more than enough action going. I think the big thing for today, we want to watch this action on AVGO. I mean, this thing is well, that thing is hot, right? Like so, this thing is coming out of a big range over here, and so that's going to lift up all the semiconductor stocks. So we want to keep a whole host of these bad boys, on the watch list. Damn, I was going to hold some of it. I was trying to bounce this. I was trying to rip this thing so many times yesterday. I was just stuck in the spin cycle of despair. Then I had this big push into the close, and now you're starting to see, man, that's hot, right? So you got a breakout spot on this one, but it's going to probably need just a small pull intraday. TSM is another one, but this one's a little bit too extended, right? So the one thing is you want to stay away from these ones that are like outside the upper Bollinger Bands. You can only hit these things on a pullback. I repeat, you can only hit these things on a pullback. So you do want to put the semiconductors on the watch list, but you want to stay away from any of these ones that are like this extended. Like see this arm? You got the candle complete outside the upper Bollinger Band. It's been on a huge snatch parade. It's doubled in the last month and a half. And so you gotta you're right at if this thing pushes into 163, I think we're gonna get a nice short on this bad boy. Oof. Look at that for a little two tapper. So let's see today with AVGO earnings, let this thing rip up. I want you to set an alert at 160 and then set one at 162, 163. And we want to start. Hopefully, we push right into that. If we get it, I mean, we're going to get a sick little short here just for a day trade. I mean, long term, this thing is probably fine, right? But for a day trade, we've got ourselves. I mean, this is a hot setup. When you get this far from the 9 EMA, you can fit two thumbs, right? Two thumbs between price and 9 EMA. You're gonna have yourself a nice little doohickey. Does that make sense? Ooh, look at that. Shit. Ooh. Some new tricks over here. All right. Hmm. Dude, this is number one. This is our number one idea for today. One big push into the two tap, and then we take this thing down. Right? If we need another one, if this MU starts to speed up, it's only $7 off this breakout. But one more big push on this one, say it gets to about 145, we'll probably be able to take this thing down. Just for a quick trade, you can see the videos also. I gap it up. This one's so hard to trade short, so I always leave this one on. It's not at the top of the Bollinger Band yet. I want to keep all of these. If we dip off, we're gonna long. If we speed up into those resistance spots, I want you to take these things down. Dude, all right, let's take a look at the other gappers over here and see what we got going on. Tesla. So the game plan on Tesla, you can't chase this thing up, right? But it always will pull, right? So let's take a look. Sometimes you get a little bit of a sell the news event where at the open, once the news comes out and everybody expected it, you sell off, right? Let it fill some gap here, and then we'll start to see if it starts to hold and build. I'd probably go in like maybe 186, 187. Will be some decent spots. All right. So let these things kind of pull back. And I think we'll get ourselves, a potential here. It's got a $200 magnet and it's Thursday. So the options will actually be trading pretty actively and cheap. So let's see if we get this thing back down. Like I want to see 186, possibly even a little bit lower, and we'll have ourselves a little hoot and nanny. Let me take a look, Lon, at this GCTS. How you doing? Hey, this thing is. I mean, this thing is a smelly turd because it just doesn't do any liquidity, right? So, like yesterday, did 400,000 shares, and it's already up like 4 days in a row. So, like usually, you want to stay away from those. Like if you're on day four, day five of a move, Lana, then it ends up being a little bit tricky. Yeah. How many of you guys drink coffee out of a mug with your own face on it? Yeah, right. That's when you know you. That's when you know you have self care. I leave this one alone. Now let's get back into this. I want you to add in AVGO. I want you to add in the old Tesla. And guys, if Tesla's too expensive for you guys, look, there's all these ETFs that trade Tesla. This TSSL trades 50 million shares yesterday, right? Hey, Brando, what's up? This thing traded 50 million shares yesterday. So when you have that, like you have the chance to really get this thing going, right? So what we want to be doing, is just watching for these kind of pulls. If you don't want to trade Tesla because it's too expensive, do this TSLL. It'll move 1.5 times what Tesla does anyways, and it's got tons of liquidity. So you can roll around with something like that. I think to be okay. That in old Tesla. Next, huh? Next decade, everybody sign preliminary 20-year LNG. Mm. Something like this could work. You got a breakout over here if you like this type of price range. It's probably, a decent, it reads decent, that kind of PR, and you got to break up the highs. That's not bad. If you like an $8 type of stock, then you're gonna have yourselves a lot of fun. I like it. I like. Yeah, not my particular flavor. I like something that has a little bit more juice, but I'm not opposed. Yeah, let's take a look at this. Let me take a look at the. Ooh, 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 ooh. Let me take a look at the RNA, brother. Uh, so this one, I actually, probably is a. You could probably, if it takes out 39, if it takes out 39, you actually might be able to. Takes out 39, you probably might get a day trade on the upside. I'd see how this one kind of plays out. Yeah. Hold on here one second. My mom's blowing me in. All right, cool, cool, cool. Hey, Billy, let's take a look. What is going on with this Billy Bunk? So, hey, for any of you guys that like Chinese stocks, this one has got a little bit of a rounding pattern. You see this kind of W action, right? So you pull back, pop up, pull back, pop up. You've got yourself a nice little location on this one. I didn't see what the PR was. Hey, Sugar, I get a little enthusiasm. I'm about to go and fight for our family honor with this Tesla. Hey, Sugar, what's up? Can you call me Hot Pants? I want a name, I want a name like my tiger, my big tiger, or something like that. Yeah, really nice. Let me see. I don't see a PR in Billy. Hey, it might not be. You may not need one. Billy Bone. That's not bad. You know, if you start to see if this gap holds and you start to see a little pull or an ORB on this, you can probably you can get this bad boy going. Man, good stuff, dude. I'd had it. TJL. The liquid pass. I love this chart actually. This is I believe it's like a Brazilian or bank or something along that end, but this has got a hot little chart on it. This to me, when I see something like this, like I look at them more as swing trades, meaning it's gonna be, it's gonna be something that's a little bit of a grinder, which is okay, but it doesn't always make the best day trader. So like sometimes for day trading, you need a lot of liquidity, you need a handful of things going. When you have when you have something like this, like it's more of like a bigger term play. So just something to kind of keep in mind of. NVDL, this NVIDIA is just on a big grind. It hasn't gone parabolic yet. It tested in the 90 EMA and it's just going. I probably would leave this alone unless you start to see it push into the 80s or something. It's not worth it. Hey, GME's got a little bit of a gap up here. The guys, the rumor yesterday was that, the kid was selling his contracts. And so that was driving down the price today. Yeah, I keep an eye on this. If you start to see this thing push back into some big, levels here, like say you get a quick squeeze in a 29.30, like you probably see this thing re-roll into Friday as people start to kind of, dumpy McGee on this bad boy. Yeah, I would think maybe about 29 on the spot, 29, maybe 30, and you're gonna get yourself a good reshort. They may just rug it right away, but I think probably the easy shred is over. That's that's some good action right there. What do you got, Armando? What do you got? Dude, Birdman, that was a really hot trade, by the way. All right. Hey, bootcamp students, remember our Thursday night study hall? Armando's doing it today. All right, let's see. See this Soxel here? Like you're like just gapping out of range way too much. You gotta leave these things alone. Now this, I could get behind. Which one is it? 30 million shares. This is a rubber band setup here. So for those guys unfamiliar with the rubber band setup, a rubber band setup is when you get a parabolic stop that gets like so far above its breakout spots and its EMAs that you often will have this kind of like wicked snapback. We have ourselves an interesting spot here, which is, you've got this huge break, and then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days, right? 8 days where it's just been cooking and booking like that. And so when you see something like that, like what we really want to be doing, let's watch and see how this reacts around this 10 spot. I would not be shocked to see a nice little snapback on this. It shouldn't be hard to borrow because the float on this is 171. Zaman. The float on this is 171 million, so it should be pretty easy to borrow. But yeah, we want kind of one last blow up. Let's see if it goes green to red. But ideally, like a little Poppy McGee would be nice. Simon, how you been, brother? Long time no see. Heck yeah. Yeah, let's add it. All right. Dude, these boner pills, the stocks are going crazy, but I think it's too extended. Everything's a little bit too extended. It has been a long time. All right, let's go into the kind of the regular watch list here. Let's get into some of these big boys here. So Apple's got a flat open. This one, I would not try to short this thing too low. If you're going to try to short it, it's got to let it pop up. It would have needed a gap today in my book, it would have needed a gap up to really get going. I can't, I can't come in and short this thing down like the 7, 8 points because oftentimes they'll just ramp it back. Now you see here with Tesla, right? We're still popping up here, 13 points, 13 points, dude. Now the key on this one for me at least is like, all right, so it was a 168 2 days ago. So yesterday's move probably priced in today. Okay, you're getting the reaction. So what's left. So maybe right into this resistance, and then that resistance is going to be pretty big. So you've got some room to play, but like I'm only interested in this if it pulls back and fills some of this gap. Otherwise, I think we leave it alone, dude. Everything is long. What's the old saying, babe, that you always say? My wife says always, long in the tooth, short in the cock. What? What's your saying? This thing is everything's a little bit long in the tooth, except some of these turds like AMD. I don't know what's going on with AMD, but it is just a giant Rundy. When you see this kind of zigzaggy action, you got to leave it alone. Microsoft broke out here, but too extended. Amazon getting ready to break out. Meta, chunk. Look at Google dumped off too at resistance, and Netflix is fading off at resistance. So we've got like a little bit of a tricky, we got a little bit of a tricky open. You got huge extension, and the hot ones are just too extended. You can't come in like say Microsoft, for example. You can't come in and chase this thing up. It was just at 404 a couple days ago. Like you can't chase this thing up here. So what you got to do is let these things back and fill. When the QQQ gap fills out, and it'll fade some of this at some point today. When it fades off this, then start to see like how some of these hotter names are working, and you'll be able to get yourself watch it. Yeah, let's take a look here. Hold on. Yo, so Reddit had this power push yesterday, and then now it's kind of like, stagnated. I think you put it on your list, but I would say yesterday was probably the day to trade it. Also with GME rolling, this may not be the easiest one to take down. So just kind of be mindful of that. Like I'm thinking we leave it alone. Hmm. Yeah, I think that's too big of a spread. And my worry on this is like, right, if like the GME starts to roll over, then if the GME starts to roll over, there's probably going to take it down with it. All right. Good. Let's get into this. AVGL, keep it on the list. As long as this is going, we want to be looking at some of these semiconductors. The key is, though, if we get a big speed up, then we want to try to take down this arm. If we get close to 160, it's got to go past 160. Yeah, we getting there. We're getting there, baby. Yeah, let's roll with it. All right, let's take a look now at Bitcoin here. right? So Bitcoin has been just kind of stuck in this range again. So it's stuck right under the all-time kind of high. It looked like it was about to break out, then it's retested the 50 bounce, and now it's just chopping around. So there's this little back and forth filling that needs to happen on this bad boy. It needs a little back and forth filling that needs to happen on this boy. But we're gonna, I think it's getting there. The issue is, of course, like, all of these miners are stuck in range. So like they pop up for a couple days and then they just roll back off. They are all turds, right? So like this is just like when you look at something like this, it's too much range. So you got to stay away. Like in general, when you're trading, you want clean patterns, right? So like when you see wicks like this, like pop up, sell off, pop up, sell off, pop up, sell off. There's sellers in that, right? And so we have to be careful. Like we don't want to be all just knee deep in that kind of stuff. So just something to keep mind of. Like it's just a bitch to trade. I think the ones that look a little bit better, if Bitcoin starts to go, this cipher is looking like it could break out soon. You can see here, you got this kind of just building and building, and it's had decent liquidity. I think this $5 mark will be important. But once again, like if you see how it trades, it's like a little bit of a choppy McGee. And then, the Wolf Nation had a huge breakout that was really, guys, you only see this kind of pattern every handful of months too. Like that's a huge breakout. So it's on a ramp up, but it needs to probably come back and fill this gap. I like the overall look of it. The structure of it's really good, but the big hairy Indian butt is just a little bit too extended. Yeah, some of the other ones are okay, like Hive, BT's got a level, but then if you see here how much they move, so like ATR, average true range, ATR on these is 22 cents. Like it's hard to trade something with 22 cents ATR. Like you just don't get the juice that you need to. Does that make sense? Yeah, hot damn, baby. Hot damn. Good. Whoop. Good. Man. Dude, I had so much of this fucking shit, the 215 calls yesterday. I should have just held them. Give so much money. Bastard. This market, the only thing, it's when you sell that it hurts. That's a beauty. No getting around that. That's a beauty. Apple, not so much. Immune, not so much. All right, let's go back into this. So the game plan for today, we need to see the Qs fill some of this gap. It's probably going to fade off at some point today and refill some of this gap because you got second day gap up. You want to hit this Tesla on any kind of pullback, but it's going to need a deep one because because it's just a huge run deep. We need to make sure we at least get enough RR. I think right here you've got some support. Like you see right here. Let me get rid of all these damn lines. Hold on. You think somewhere in this zone right here, we're going to be able to do it. I want you to watch this AVGO. If this thing keeps cooking most of the day, it's going to take all these semis with it. But they are getting long in the tooth. So, if you do get a little bit of extension, at some point, some of these are going to pull back. And that's mainly going to be probably ARM, but it needs one more push. Beyond that, you want to make sure you kind of stay away from anything that's outside the Bollinger Band. I want you to add in this GME, the first this one. If we get to 28 to 29 to 30, somewhere in there, I'll start looking for a potential short on this bad boy. Take it easy today. The market probably needs a rest day. The market likes to remember this. The market likes to go on Fridays, right? Fridays have always been kind of this hot spot in the markets with the zero DPs. So what I want you to do, don't be afraid if you get a little bit of a flat day or a chop day where the market gaps up and just chops around and it rests out, and then Friday you get a little bit more heat. That often will happen on Thursdays when you got all this data coming in. So you want to make sure like you don't blow your load too early, because Friday's where all the fun usually is. Comprendes? Hell yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm into it, buddies. All right, let's go do what we do, which is the do. Take it easy today, peoples. Take it easy.